Wednesday, or whenever you're watching this. I'm Hillary, and I am coming to you from Anishinaabe land in northern Michigan, Michiganing, which is Lake Michigan in Odawa, Anishinaabe language. And the lake is just a block that way, and I'm here connecting with the land, with my body, and offering this opportunity to connect with you through the ether webs during this preparation, and maybe you're watching this during or even after the solar eclipse. And I'm going to turn down the music. We'll get back to it later. But I wanted to share that this is a very powerful time, if you're not aware of that already. And we are entering into a new moon, which is a new moon in Taurus that happens to also happen during a solar eclipse. So the eclipse for me here is tomorrow morning in Eastern Standard Time around 6:41. And it will be a partial solar eclipse, not a full solar eclipse here. The only place it's going to be full solar eclipse is in the North Pole. So acknowledging that this is a really rare experience of having that eclipse, which is when the moon covers the sun, either fully or partially, and blocks out the rays, happening straight over that North Pole. And it's the only time in this decade, the 21st century, that there will be a solar eclipse happening over that North Pole. So I'm thinking about it and have been told by other people, including a friend, Mary Stewart Adams, that this is like a release valve, and that we have an opportunity to do a lot of releasing right now, which is wonderful and somewhat challenging as well. So honoring that this may not be an easy time for you, it's certainly bringing a lot of growth for me, and that self-love and being present with others, with ourselves, is what's needed, as usual. So let's do some practice around this. And so the sun and the moon, that's Luna, my Luna cat, happens to be conjunct with Mercury in Taurus. And Taurus, this is in sidereal astrology, by the way. So if you're not aware of sidereal astrology, it is how we are currently affected by the stars and the planets, and the collaboration of the planets in the particular constellations that are amplifying the energies of those constellations. And you may think of them as archetypes as well. So the precession of the equinox happens, and we shift slightly every equinox. And so over the last 2,000 years, since the tropical zodiac was put into place, which was developed by the Babylonians and Sumerians, and then really codified by the Romans as well, we have shifted 24 degrees. So while tropical astrologers may say we're in Gemini, we're actually still in Taurus. Just to put that out there, you can look at an app on your phone called Star Walk, and it will show you, oh, right, the moon and the sun and Mercury are in Taurus. So Taurus energy is so much about stabilizing the inner abundance, the inner true abundance, with some hard work, right? It symbolizes the bull, the ox that brings that plow through the fields. And we may have been doing this work for quite a while already. Certainly springtime is a good time for that plowing and that taking action and stabilizing, so that that abundance can truly grow out from our labor, right? The fruits of our labor. So we have this eclipse, which is blocking the sun, the rays of the sun, right? The moon blocking that. So you might say that that's more of the yin energy blocking the yang energy, or receptive blocking the penetrative. I try not to use masculine and feminine too much, although we have those energies within us, all of us, in our own unique balance. So we can translate that way, although I like to use active and penetrative or receptive a little bit more commonly, to be more inclusive, ideally. So that's happening over that North Pole. And there is both maybe a blocking and an opening available for us. Maybe a blocking of the way we normally act in that penetrative or active way, and a releasing through that more yin way of being, the more surrendered and allowing way of being. So movement and embodiment and creative practices are perfect for these times. And of course, the new moon is about planting seeds and setting intentions for this lunar cycle of the new moon that is coming and will be growing into the full moon that will culminate on the 24th of June, right after the solstice. So there's a lot happening in these next couple weeks, and so I'm going to be putting out a little bit more just to support us in this process, and also encouraging all of us to take care through our own embodiment practices and mindfulness practices, and to prepare for what's coming with this solstice and the full moon. So I think that's all to share right now. In that way, verbally, I will go through an embodiment journey with some music, and I invite you to get comfortable, to find a place inside or outside to lay down, to rest on the earth, right? This energy of Taurus, of that earth sign, really asks us to just sink in. It takes hard work and requires that we are grounded, and that we connect with the earth, and that do the work from that place of really being grounded, expressing ourselves from really being grounded, and taking loving action from that place so that we can be more stable and cultivate stability and sustainability as well. All right, so wherever you feel comfortable to do this practice, you can certainly pause this and start it again when that feels good to you. And let's get started. All right, so invite you to lie down and just surrender yourself to your bones and to the earth beneath you. Giving over to those bones, giving over to your body with breath. With sound, with touch, with movement, and allowing this music to inform you, along with your body, of course, of how you want to continue arriving. Maybe some stretches, some rocks and rolls, to become more present with the earth element, especially of our bodies. There's a lot happening at this time, and we're going to move through the aspects of this new moon and this solar eclipse. But bit of stretching and opening. Also feeling into the joints of the body, where our connective tissues hold us together, just like the roots of the trees hold them into the earth. Honoring that we may feel tightness and tension and discomfort, and that we can move with that and through that discomfort and through that tension with some simple movements. I'm especially feeling a lot of tension around the hips, around the lower back, and what's good for that is certainly moving the hips. So allowing yourself to be in that exploration and finding the pleasure even in the discomfort. We don't have to move in any particular way, any structured way, and yet you can if that feels good to you, if you have yoga training or practices that you do. Honoring the earth of your body and the earth of where you are. And becoming present with your environment, looking around and taking it in, experiencing yourself as a part of the place where you are, and being curious about how you want to engage and interact with this environment. Honoring your curiosity, honoring the mystery of you. And I want to speak to that Taurus actually rules the throat, the jaw, the chin, the larynx, the vocal cords. So as we continue to move through this chart with the aspects, being aware that the main energy of this time is really about opening the throat, opening our communication and our expression, as Mercury is in retrograde, which means that it is a medicine that we're taking. Mercury is about communication and about messages from the sun, and possibly about what's to come. And so we are now taking that in to us. And we may be receiving more information than we may be used to receiving, which is what Mercury retrograde is about, and why it might be disorienting and confusing and difficult to do things right now, because we see it in the future and it's not quite yet. So let yourself be patient and just notice what those messages are, and try not to force them, just let them be as they are. So we're going to continue moving, and there's going to be some lyrics to this next song as we work with these aspects of that new moon and Mercury in Taurus. And also looking at how that's trine Saturn in Capricorn, which is about structure and about discipline as well. So there's support to be disciplined, and discipline supports this rooting in, right? This taking action with this longer term vision. So what are we wanting to grow? What are we wanting to nurture and plant? And what are we ready to uproot? That's really the theme of this time. that there's so much going on under the earth and within that we may not always be aware of, or we may not share, and others may not share, and yet that is happening. So let us honor it and give space for that inner work and that deeper rooting and cultivating. So what movement will help you to honor what you need to feel that you are uprooting and nourishing the roots that need nourishment? And allow your voice to open up to honoring that we have our unique voice, and that voice needs to come out, that we just share our truth, and that these messages may sometimes get a little confused, but our truth is needed, even if it's going to be challenging for others.
There are men who cast their nets in search of purpose and respect, coming back with emptiness, forgotten all their privileges.
So what do you need to share with yourself and with
Drink
others?
my coffee, wrap my thoughts, check the weather, check my watch. I'm waiting for the sun to drop so I can start a fire, signal on the plane. The world's about to shift again, we'll never be the same. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
So how are you shifting, and what does your body want to do to honor this shift of this time, of this season?
La da 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 da. La da 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 da.
Stretches as well.
Oh, we ought to take things far more personal. What do we stand for? And is it all visible?
Honoring your body and your capacity and your desires. How does your body want to move through whatever it is releasing, whatever it wants to grow? And then we're going to move on to the next aspect, which is a T-square. And T-squares are about big learning. So this particular T-square is with Neptune. And Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune is connected to the collective consciousness. And Pisces is about this era we're in of the two fishes, right, that are connected by matter, or two souls going opposite directions. So it's about paradox and united by matter, by being on this plane. So we are learning and integrating these lessons more deeply, and Neptune helps us to tap into that larger collective consciousness to receive these visions. And, you know, we also have social media and stuff like that too. But it's square the sun and the moon and Mercury in Taurus. So what we were just working with that rooting into the harder work and cultivating that stability and inner abundance. So there's lessons being learned about how do we receive the messages of this time that help us to do that, and what is the work that we need to do that more deeply. And then also it's square with the North Node, which is about where we're going. You know, that path that has been in Taurus. But it's also square with the South Node, which is in Scorpio, which is the past. And it's the past that is being transformed, that is dying, that is being let go of, the ancestral patterns and beliefs and traumas that we are transforming into this path of stability in true inner abundance moving forward. So, honoring that this may be a confusing time, there may be mixed messages, we may not get the messages all that clearly either, and honoring that we are tender human beings and others are also tender human beings, and we have our shit, we have our stuff. So let yourself be with those feelings that you are having, and whatever the communication that you have received, there is guidance in it. There is wisdom for you if you can tap into you, tap into your feelings, into your past, into your knowing of where you've been and where you're going, and even if it's a mystery, allowing those feelings to wash through you, to be that energy in motion, to guide you in your flow back into yourself and into your truth. So use your breath to feel a little bit more honoring who you are in this lifetime. And we can keep working with that energy as we move forward. And this next energy is going to be a little bit more activating. And so as you honor your feelings and honor what's present, we're also looking at how Saturn in Capricorn is square Uranus and Aries, and has been and will continue to be the rest of this year. So if you've tuned into these Cosmic Heart embodiments before, you'll know that we've been here for about 6 months or so, maybe not quite that long. But that said, Saturn is about structure and time and discipline and order. And then Uranus is about, well, I need freedom and play and liberation. And that being in Aries is more of that revolutionary, right? Like, let's do this, right? Let's create that freedom and that play and that surrender. And then Saturn in Capricorn is like, okay, but we need to structure this. We need to like build it from the earth up, and we need to know where we're going and how we're getting there, right? So that's like the bones, the structure of the body. So let yourself presence the bones, right? Some shaking or some walking around, just like being with those bones, being with your structure, feeling it with the earth, with the floor. And how are the ways that you are structuring your life? You're putting that discipline in. You maybe are actively getting help. You are doing that work with structure, with support. But then allow it to bring you to freedom, right? Because if it doesn't open to liberation and freedom, then what is it good for? So let yourself move with that support and stability from the bones. But find those moments where you're just like opening. And notice, what is this like in your life right now? Right? What are the values that you have for liberation for yourselves and for others? And how are you finding moments and times for that? Maybe even more so because you have that discipline, you have that structure that allows for that opening and is in service to that opening and that freedom. Right? Just like the systems of our society can be controlling, or we can change them and create new systems that are in service to freedom for all. So what systems are you putting in place, and how are you contributing? own life, in your family life, your community, maybe even on a larger scale. So coming back to the bones, and then we're going to move on to a little bit harder energy, which is Pluto in Sagittarius opposing Mars in Cancer. So Pluto in Sagittarius is that transformer. Pluto kills what is no longer needed, does away with it. And Sagittarius is about higher wisdom. So trusting that whatever we are losing, whatever is being taken from us, whatever is dying, needs to die. And that it's for a higher purpose. To repurpose, actually, that energy into what is being birthed with this Mars in Cancer. Mars being more of that active, penetrative warrior energy, in Cancer being the maternal, being the nurturer. So there is this like birthing and nurturing what is coming out, right? The new spark of the fire, the new possibility out of the death and the destruction. So there's a balancing happening here. So this song is really honoring my indigenous heritage of Polish and Slavic. These are Slavic women who are singing. It's called the Song Laboratorium, is their community. And they are bringing out these old songs, bringing out their traditions, and recreating them anew in this era so that we can experience the wisdom of the past in a new way. So how are you working with that? How are you taking the wisdom of the past and transforming it into higher wisdom for what is coming next, for what you are birthing, what you are creating in this, with this liberatory structure, right? How are you creating that liberatory structure for yourself and for others? So drop into that. Feel into what is dying for you. What are you letting go? What are you transforming? Noticing how you feel it in the body. And staying present, especially with the pelvic area, the hips, the femurs, the stabilizing area that Sagittarius rules, as well as the spine. Honoring the feelings that are there and using them as fuel for releasing and transmuting. And feeding the spark of what you are bringing forth, of what is birthing through you, what is arising through you. That energy into action, into creation, into expression of what you are birthing. Holding that vision, holding that feeling, holding that knowing, that message of liberation. Others, seeing yourself living this truth. completely surrender and just lay on the earth and let the earth receive this. And emerge in your own way, your own mind. Transition in yourself and what you need to modulate. Transition and this last aspect is Venus in Gemini square Chiron in Pisces. So Venus, of course, right, the receptive, that yin of beauty and of our values, what is truly beautiful to us and valued, and of love and delight. But there's a square, so it's a learning with Chiron, which is the wounded healer, presencing the wounds of this age. So Gemini, many possibilities, right? Many ideas. So there's some playful energy here of sensuality and exploration. But also there's healing that's happening. So the feminine or the receptive, allowing part, part of us is going through some deep healing. So allow for that healing, allow for the surrender, allow for the sensation, like we've been doing, even more deeply, going into the waters of Pisces, and allowing there to be a flow of releasing back down to the earth through the feet, which is what Pisces rules. Gemini is the arms and the lungs and the hands and the fingers. So we can work with that, acknowledging that what are we bringing to ourselves, right? What are we calling in, and understanding what that is. focusing on this flowing through us. So what will be healing for you right now? Also acknowledging that Gemini rules the thymus, which is this gland in the upper heart that is connected to the immune system, the endocrine system as well. And it helps us to discern our boundaries and help us to discern what are we bringing in and what are we putting out. So you can give that part a little bit of a tap, waking that up, saying, okay, what are my boundaries right now? And how can I build those up? How can I honor those boundaries in loving ways for myself? That in this life and in past lives and ancestrally, those boundaries have been crossed, and that's led to learning, it's led to cultivating inner strength. And how can we trust being in surrender, but also what you are releasing and pushing away, and then what you are calling in. And doing that a few times. Pushing out from the heart, from the thymus, releasing what you no longer need, transforming it into pure light consciousness, so bliss and emptiness, sending out to wherever it's most generous to go for our awakening to this natural greatness of being together, moving in and out. Calling in what you want, what you need, what you desire. intuition, and also what you need at this time of this solar eclipse, and how you can stay grounded and nourished through this time. All right. And I am offering Cosmic Heart Embodiment for the full moon also on the 24th of June, and also offer Cosmic Heart Embodiment individual sessions too that work with your birth chart and a day of your choosing. And then we do an embodiment journey together for your healing, for your support of what you need at that time. And then you get a recording of the practice. And I'm also putting out some nourishing balance work, which is about one-on-one sessions and helping individuals to bring that nourishing balance into our lives by understanding the different aspects of our lives and what we need to come into greater balance with ourselves and with our environment and with others in our lives as well. So you can reach out to me if you're interested in that and sign up for a discovery session. There's a link in the event here. On this live, or this gathering, and also you can check out my website. All right, and that is movingingrace.com. Have a great day. Bye.